women arguing and fighting, all you gotta do is tell niggas 50% off. And they like, to hell with, I'm gonna get my weaves. I'm gonna go get my weaves.
Last week, we seen our brother Tyrone Muhammad went to the Color Nails out in Chicago. Now, this brother had got a report that they were putting hands on black women. The first time he told them not to do that. The second time he came over, he decided to make a statement. So as you saw in the video last week, Tyrone Muhammad got a bag of bricks and he started breaking windows. And the community bailed him out of jail. They donated over $30,000 to Tyrone to help him and be in support. But that's not the end of the story, unfortunately. We wish that Tyrone's efforts was something that could be respected, something that could be honored. They're the brother that went right back to that particular nail shop, and he posted the video. I want you guys to see exactly what this brother is going to show, and then we're going to get into this conversation today. And some feelings going to get hurt, but that's part of how we do things here. The truth hurts. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Let's see who all peeking up and going in this piece here. Oh, they still getting productive business. Oh yeah, business booming. Yeah, they done. What up? What up, Delilah? Good. Be quiet. Quit talking to me. I'm just checking stuff out. Yeah, they kind of deep in there. They definitely kind of deep in there. Business has not changed.
So boarded up windows and all, the brother walked in, as you can see, just checking it out, and is full of sisters sitting in there wanting to get their nails done. Their dignity and self-respect is worth a fake nail that don't grow out their hand. They don't care if Tyrone took a stand for them. There were many brothers in that comment section of the video was saying, I don't know why he's doing this. He's going to get himself in trouble for nothing. Watch it go right back to that shop. Brothers were saying, this is why I won't do anything, because it's not being respected. Now, Tyrone, in my opinion, his efforts were honorable. His efforts was great. And a lot of people support Tyrone. I support the brother. I definitely support him having the money given to him by the community. But at the same time, Tyrone himself saw the women going into that shop.
She must have believed in domestic violence.
And we fighting for her, but she said leave them people alone.
Well, y'all got to understand, everybody don't have the same concept. You can't judge them.
That's the problem. Leave these people alone. You are the people. She actually said that.
What are these people doing for you besides putting fake nails on you?
See,
you don't look no more beautiful than you already when you went in there.
Hold these individuals accountable.
Well,
And in this case,
hold on.
we're about to win. We're gonna win, and we're not accepting no losses in this.
Then there's other videos that I have covered in the past. Do you remember in Dallas, Texas, where you had the sister get punched in the mouth by a Korean beauty shop owner? The community came out to defend the sisters at that time period. And then when this man said, I'll give y'all 50% off of everything in this store, there was, if you remember, a line of them lining up to get products from a man that punched another black woman in the mouth. Brothers were standing out there at that time period trying to defend them. And then you had one of them come out and started arguing.
No, we didn't try to take your phone, sister. Sister, you should not went over there.
Did you not? I walked my ass to the motherfucker. Did you not come over there? He said
you was wrong. You was wrong. You was wrong. You was wrong like this. You was wrong.
Now the mentality, and I know the mentality may be.
You know what?
Nobody asked him to do anything like that.
I have not finished watching this whole video. Take my gum up my mouth. I've not finished watching this whole video, but I have so many. I'm perplexed. So you know what? You all go ahead, finish watching his video. I'm gonna finish watching his video. I just want to jump into my commentary from what it is that I've seen so far. Listen, this is a self-love issue. This is a self-love issue right here. And so let's go down. So there were black men who were saying, this is why I don't do anything for black women. Why are you doing this, that, and the other, right? And I stated this last week, and I state this in my videos, right? If you're doing something, first of all, don't ever do anything outside of the scope of what it is that you feel comfortable doing without any accolades. Because when it comes to assisting people who are mentally enslaved, especially, many of them don't know that they're mentally enslaved. There's a statement that's going around being attributed to Harriet Tubman, but I'm hearing that she didn't actually make this statement, but it's a powerful statement. It goes, I freed 1,000 slaves. I would have freed 1,000 more if only they knew that they were slaves. You know, so I'm going to tell you this from Big Sister to you all out there. It doesn't matter what it is and who it is that you're doing it for. If you're doing anything expecting a thank you or whatever in exchange, if that is a contingency for your help, then don't do it. If you're going to be out there fighting for freedom, fight for freedom's sake. Because these people are like, oh, that's why I won't do anything for black women, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Listen, there are black women out there who would appreciate it. It just so happens, if you look at the profile of a person who is dependent on that creamy crack, who is dependent on the weave to feel beautiful, a person who is so asleep that they would spend their money inside of a shop where that shop is, like, if you look at the picture, go back and look at the image that they're using on the side of that shop with the weave. All they had to do was say 50% off, and then the lines was around the door, and then the girl with her little boxer shorts on and her ponytails in the back with the weaves out in the back and the new growth in the front, and she's up there arguing with him. It's like, if you look at the profile of a person who is supporting those stores, knowing what it is that they know, and we talked about this in a video before, your children are living in places where they are coming into contact with lead poisoning. Your children are subjected to public schools without proper funding, where there aren't even enough good put together books. All right, your children are going there. Their children are going to private schools. Their children are getting the best of the best education. Their children are regarded and prized by society. But your children, look, you are over there funding their lifestyle. There is no contingency for your support. You know, they don't have to respect you. They don't even have to physically regard you as human. They could attack you physically. They could punch you down from man to woman, and you're still going to go there and support and funnel dollars into their pockets so that they can continue to enrich their community. I forget the numbers, but I when I heard it, it was just so startling. The numbers were talking about how many times a dollar travels around in a Jewish community, in an Asian community, before leaving that. And it was like 2 weeks here, 30 days there. But in the black community, it was an hour and a half, something like that, or 15 minutes, something like that. I refresh me with the stats if you know them below. But it's something that's exorbitantly low. So my whole thing is, if being respected is not a contingency for you supporting a business, then you deserve what it is that you get from that type of business that doesn't respect you. You deserve what it is that you get. And same thing on the flip side. If you know that a certain level of appreciation for your effort or accolade is necessary for you to go out there and put yourself on the line, then you need to, one, realize that all Black people are not the same. All Black people are not woke enough to be able to appreciate your help. And then also, what is the best way for you to help? I remember I had a colleague back in the MySpace days who had this as his profile message. He was like, I cannot help the poor if I am one of them. Listen, is his best way to assist by going there with a pillowcase full of bricks? Listen, that's gangster though. That's gangster. Going there with a pillowcase full of bricks, busting out windows, but then landing himself in prison and then having to get GoFundMes done for him to get out of prison. You know what I mean? Is his best way helping on the ground floor, freedom fighting in that way? Or is his best way helping perhaps coming at it from a different angle? Self-love classes, community building, entrepreneurship classes, something. So Black women, we have got to learn to love our natural attributes. Our hair is so beautiful. And it is like the way that it naturally grows out of our head. If we were to really, truly embrace that, it would be second to none. Because it's like, it's a beauty that you can't emulate. It's like, meanwhile, while we're out here emulating European beauty with brown skin, then they come and the Europeans flip it on us and do the black fishing. And then they come at it, emulating the Black beauty that Black women were emulating of the Europeans. Now with the European features, with the pumped up lips and the thin nose and the light eyes and the straight hair. If we were to really, truly, fully embrace our beauty and exalt that, there's so many Black people out there who just don't get it. You know, in some ways we continue to move backwards with the materialism and the outward shows of quote unquote wealth and the outward shows of what it is that we consider to be beautiful or feminine. Like, you know, going and paying people to place these false nails and false lashes and the false hair. And there are people who get on me. There was one guy who commented on my video last week, and he was like, how I'm living in a trailer. I live in a travel trailer. I live on the road off the grid. And this man said to me, we need to move forward. You're moving backward. And I said to him, I'm like, look, who do you think between you and me has, you know what, I'll post the comment below beside. I was like, who do you think between you and I has the most amount in liquid cash savings right now? Who do you think? And I'm like, be honest, right? And I'm like, because he's talking about moving backward, but what is it that it takes that we consider to be moving forward? Enriching our landlords? Enriching the bank? What is it that we consider to be moving forward? Enriching these people, placing superficial things on our nails, and then the chemicals are not even good for us. You want to talk about your children living in homes with lead? The chemicals that you see them sitting up there with masks on their face, but you just go right on in, inhaling all of that, letting them put all of those chemicals on top of you. I remember there was this one girl that I got into an argument with on Facebook. This was a while ago, so I can't find her comment. But she was like, look at you. That's why you wear synthetic wigs. So like when I put on a wig or whatever, I wear synthetic. I am not putting another human being's DNA on my scalp. I'm not doing it. No, I am not doing it. I think that there's something fundamentally wrong with going out there and being like, what it is that I grow from my scalp is not good enough. What I'm going to do is I am going to use the DNA that comes from another person's scalp and slap that on top of my head. I think it's twisted. Personally, I think it's twisted. And you know what? Listen, we all have our own standards and we have all our own thing. Like if you do see me wearing some false hair, like these locks or false or whatever, I attempt to get a hair grade that looks like something that it could have grown out of my head. I think there's something fundamentally lacking when we go out there and we get a hair texture or type that is unachievable from our human bodies. It's unachievable. A look and a feel that's just that we cannot achieve genetically. So that we're going out there on the dating market with all of these falseness to give a symbol of who it is that we are in this mating process, and the symbols and cues that we're giving out are not even real, you know? But that's a whole other topic for a whole other day. This right here, some of us are lost. Some of us are lost. And what is it going to take for us to wake up? What is it going to take for us to love our nails as they grow? Love our eyebrows as they grow. Love our eyelashes as they grow. You know, it's like there's so many of us who just don't feel beautiful as we are. I've been working behind the scenes in Hollywood lately, and I've been seeing a lot of really beautiful Black women. And it's unfortunate that most of the beauty that I'm seeing is beauty that's slapped on externally. And I look at Black women nowadays, ever since the natural hair movement really kind of started taking off, I look at Black women and I imagine what their hair texture would look like without the chemicals, without the weave, without all of that. And I have to ask myself sometimes, is this woman that I think is so quote unquote beautiful, without all of these things externally, how beautiful would we as a society think that she is? We have to, as a people, really kind of open up our eyes to the truth and to reality. Because a lot of the standards that we have are external pressures coming from other people. Because we know that there's a certain look that hits, a certain look that clicks, right? And it's like another thing that I've been noticing working behind the scenes in Hollywood is that a lot of these women out here have gotten plastic surgery. A lot of them have implants and they do lipo and they got fillers and this to do that there and this here and this and this and this. There's this pressure to look a certain way, to have certain things. And if you don't have those things, you don't get booked. If you don't have those things, people just don't gravitate to you. There's that je ne sais quoi that you just don't have. You know, so there's a tremendous amount of pressure for us to have these false hair and lashes and nails and the cinched in waist. And I see some of the most ridiculous things online. There was a photoshopped image of a girl whose waist was slimmer than her head, and she had these big hips. And I don't know if you've seen this. I'll tell you what the meme says. It's like, you're at the baseball game and this girl stands up in front of you. Are you going to tell her to sit down or enjoy the view? And most of the men were like, damn, I'm going to enjoy the view. That look good, this, that, and the other. And I'm telling you, they photoshopped it to the point where her waist was smaller than her head and she had like these big hips or whatever. And I'm like, you know, it's like, how can women be real? How can women be real when there's so much pressure? Like, I don't even think that most of us know what real bosom, what real cleavage looks like. So much so that we're like, oh, she has soggy or saggy titties. So many different words that we use to describe women's bodies in derogatory, negative light. She has saggy titties. Well, no, those are just normal breasts. Especially after a woman has given birth, you know, her body changes and it shifts. As a woman ages, her body changes and shifts. But we don't give the allowances for these shifts and these natural changes, you know, so that we're like, oh, she just doesn't have XYZ. So you see the thing between this is a natural thing that shows emotion right there. But then we attempt to erase the naturalness. But listen, I get it. And as much as people complained about my hair when it was blonde, as much as people like to come out and complain, the videos were alluring. You know, it was in the winter and my skin was lighter then and my hair was blonde. Please go look at those videos. Those videos get 10 times as many views as other videos. I kid you not. We're talking about 1.2 million, 198,000. Go to Facebook and take a look and see. You know, YouTube is a whole other story because they constrict views on YouTube, but go to Facebook and take a look at my video rosters. So it's like on the one hand, and then like I even told you, I live off of the grid. I live an avant-garde life by my own rules, living a life that I'm comfortable with. And there will be Black people who will be like, oh, this is why you this, that, and the other. I told you I paid my landlord, my Jewish landlord in New York City, more than $80,000 over the course of, I was in that place for 3 years, paying $2,500 a month. I paid him more than $80,000 over the course of 3 years. And I said no more. When I came out to California, I decided to own and get my own and live a life like how I want to live. Free, off the grid, out here in the world, on the road, living how I choose to live. And I have Black people who come to me as a grown woman living by my own standards. And they're like, oh, this is not the symbol of success. You know what I mean? And it's like, and then I have, you know, I do my own advocacy. Like we were talking about the trans issue last week. And there were people who were coming out and they're like, oh, how did this, how dare you? Listen, every woman is not created equal. Let me say that in a different way. Every Black person is not the same. We all don't have the same mentality. So when people are arguing and all this other stuff, just remember these videos. Just remember these videos and know, just because you have a certain set of people in your circle doesn't mean that everybody out there is of the same mindset. Everybody doesn't want better for themselves. Everybody doesn't advocate for each other. Everybody doesn't. So it's like, if you're going to do something because you feel it in your heart. Live how you choose to live because you feel it in your heart. As you see me, I do not wear false nails. I don't use I don't put on the semi-permanent lashes. I have not microbladed my eyebrows. I haven't done that. You know, it's like I love myself as I am. I love the version of beauty that grows out of my DNA. And if that is an issue for certain decision makers here in Hollywood, that shall be their issue. I'm doing some things behind the scenes to enter into different markets where those markets will accept my beauty and exalt it. My version of beauty, my Negroid features, exalt that instead of attempting to squish me into this mold of sameness. If you look at these Instagram quote unquote baddies, there's so many of them that just seem the same. Same this, same that, just like a Barbie. Pop off the head from one, pop it onto another, and just interchange because it's so similar. The features are so similar. And it's like we have to love ourselves and live as we see fit for us. Because you're going out there trying to please other people, trying to live by the Joneses, trying to live up to some arbitrary rules created by other people, and you find yourself constantly running behind the 8 ball instead of really truly being yourself. And I listen, I pray for the day that we can be ourselves and express our beauty in a way that it's like we have let these people go too far. We have let them go too far. And we as Black women, as Black people, we need to take a stand. We need to stand up and say, look, this is how I look. Whatever you want to call soggy titties and all, this is how I look. Well, they're not soggy, but they could be. Doesn't matter if they were. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. But I'm saying, and it's like, it's such a shame that we've gone so far. We've come so far in these different industries still to be in the same place that we were before. Because it's like the people who've come before us, they've not created platforms where we can be judged. It's like judged by the merit of our talent. It's like before, back in the 80s and 90s and stuff, people used to be able to have different looks. We used to have older people that could create music. We could have had people from all different ages and looks and all this other stuff. But we've allowed ourselves to be pigeonholed into this ever-progressing European standard of beauty that we continue to try to mesh ourselves into. And when is it going to be time for us to say no more? No more. I'm getting ready to go try the European market, and I'm getting ready to go try the market in Nigeria and go see what it's like over there. Create my pilot and shop it around in different markets. No more. It's like, okay. I've said enough. I've said enough. I want to hear your thoughts and your comments below. I really want to see how you feel about what it is that we've seen here. Women arguing and fighting. All you got to do is tell niggas 50% off. And they like, to hell with, I'm going to get my weaves. I'm going to go get my weaves. Listen, and I don't want to be hypocritical because, like I said, I know that I have extensions in my hair. You know, but I'm very precise with where I buy it from and how much I invest in it and how often. Listen, I'm just going to wait for your comments below. Listen, Tonya TKO, and I'm out. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, what? That's right. Love yourself. Go and love yourself. And I have this book, which is the book of affirmations, self-love. This is my personal book that I write in myself because this book has changed my life and it continues to change my life. It is a life-changing book that'll get you all together internally, financially, physically. You all see how much I've slimmed down from doing this book over the past few months. There's just a magic in it to rewriting your subconscious programming. Listen, I love you all. Let me give you a hug. We haven't hugged in a minute. Hug me, hug me, hug me, hug me. Oh! There goes our hug. Listen, I love you all so much. Let me clean up the lens. That was so funny. I will see you all in the next video. All right? Tonya TKO. Peace.